Got to dust off some of this NBA knowledge for you. CBS Sports in the top 100 is out there for the masses, and all you can argue all you want. Some of the big names, such as Nikola Jokic, the MVP, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a skinny Luka Doncic, and Victor Wembanyama cracking the top 5. Some of those spots you would expect, while others may be leaving some question marks. Take a look for yourself. Yes, the Joker back at number 1 for a second consecutive year. Shai at number 2, Luka at 3, Giannis at 4, and Wemby at 5. And then some of those household names, Steph at 6, Ant-Man at 7, and rounding out the top 10, the old man LeBron James when it comes to the top 10 of the top 100. All right, here to get all the smoke, my guy Sam Quinn. Of course, you're not the only one putting this list together, but you are the face of it today, my friend. So I want to jump right into it. Let's start there at number 1. Joker back-to-back years, but no Shai. Why is that?
Well, they played in a playoff series last year. The numbers were pretty similar between the two of them, but Jokic was carrying a 6-man team. His second best scorer had one arm. His only reserve was Russell Westbrook, and he took them to 7 games against the 68-win monster in Oklahoma City. I think that series kind of told you everything that you needed to know, right? You know, SGA was the MVP. He did have, statistically one of the best guard seasons that we've ever seen. Incredible scorer, very underrated defender now. But Jokic is just in another universe right now for anybody else in the league. Averaged a triple-double, only the 3rd player in NBA history ever to do that. First player in NBA history ever to be top 3 in the league in points, rebounds, and assists in a single season. We are talking about arguably the greatest offensive player in NBA history here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander probably will hold this crown at some point. If he wins another MVP, if he wins another championship, it's going to be hard to deny him, especially as Jokic starts to get older. But for now, the statistical resume for Nikola Jokic is just so unimpeachable that I don't think many voters felt comfortable saying, yeah, SJ's the best player on the best team, but does that really make him the best player in the league? I personally said no. I went with Jokic, and the majority of voters obviously went with Jokic as well.
All right, so when it comes to it, a long time ago, we were talking about LeBron James being the future. Now he's the old man there at number 10. I guess year 23 gets you a lot of respect there when it comes to LBJ?
Yeah, absolutely, right? If you look at who he was last year, he was a second-team All-NBA player. The statistical decline was, if anything, non-existent or pretty minimal. Sure, he doesn't get to the rim quite as much as he used to. His night-to-night defense isn't quite where it was at the peak. But when he needs to lock in, you still probably wouldn't pick more than 4 or 5 players in the league for a single game over LeBron, right? He's improved so much as a shooter since he got to the Lakers. He's still one of the best playmakers in the NBA. He's not who he used to be. We have to make peace with that. A few years ago, you said LeBron is the 10th best player in the NBA. That would have been sacrilegious. He was the best player in the league for a full decade. At 41, he is remarkably close, all things considered, to who he was at his peak. And even if he isn't quite that guy anymore, I think number 10 is roughly the right compromise. You do have to worry about the sciatica that he's dealing with. Injuries at that age, they can snowball. For now, though, if you assume that we get a similar version of LeBron that we got last year, he's absolutely still a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah, what is it? The glutes? Is some the old man glutes is messing up on him here? I don't know. That's what they've been saying. So we'll see how that pans out. So look, we got 2 Lakers in the top 10, Luka at 3, but when it comes to Shai, he is not the only Thunder. You have 7 in the top 100. I mean, that has to fit when you're talking about a defending champ, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at the way that they won last year, obviously they did have the MVP, but they were so deep. It's like, oh, you play 8 minutes, you're so exhausted playing against this swarming defense. Here comes Alex Caruso off the bench to make your life even harder. Here's Kason Wallace. They have 2 starting centers who are like among the best few in the NBA. They are so deep, they're so well constructed. They could handle, as we saw last year, Hartenstein missed time, they were fine. Chet Holmgren missed time. They were fine. I think you pull anybody but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander off of that team for a month or two, and they're still going to be one of the best teams in the NBA. Case in point, Jalen Williams played all of last postseason with a wrist injury that we really didn't know about until after the fact. They still win the championship. They are so deep. They are so well insulated against injuries that, 7 even feels light to me. I wonder if we go into next year, maybe Nikola Jokic has a very impressive rookie year and we put him on the list. They have so many young players on that team that maybe next year it's 8 or 9.
Take a look at it. The Thunder still the favorites to run it back at 210. All their young talent out there in OKC. By the way, the Knicks with 6, the second most. My Wizards 0. I want to get to somebody that the biggest riser, Amen Thompson, went up from 66 to 35. And you even put in a little blurb on the article on CBSSports.com. He is the best athlete in the league.
Yeah, we're talking about somebody here in my time covering the NBA. LeBron would be on that list. Russell Westbrook, the best athletes. Amen Thompson is that caliber of athlete, right? When you talk about height, speed, jumping, strength, he does things that nobody, except for ironically his twin brother in the NBA, can really do. He's grown into probably, at least in my estimation, the best perimeter defender in the NBA. This season is going to be really instructive. We're going to see how far he can really go, because with Fred VanVleet out, he's now probably going to be the point guard for the most part on offense. They might play him with Reed Sheppard, but he's going to be the guy who's driving downhill, the guy who's dribbling the ball up the court a lot of the time. There is a world, if he continues to grow as we saw last year, where he's an all-star this year. He maybe even competes for an all-NBA spot. He certainly has the physical tools. The shooting is not there. But you know what? How many years did we say, if only Giannis Antetokounmpo could shoot? Well, he never quite learned, but he still won 2 MVPs. He won a championship, a finals MVP. I think he ranked number 4 on our list this year. That is kind of available to Amen. Not quite as big as Giannis, but that same idea of an all-world defender, all-world athlete, somebody who can get to the rim at will. If that's who Amen Thompson turns out to be, we're talking about a superstar.
His growth and the reason why that Jalen Green is no longer there and in Phoenix. So it is his show in Houston. I want to get to some of those fallers there, and I think it's the same theme. You got Joel Embiid, Jrue Holiday, and Paul George. It seems like it's age and also injuries.
Yeah, absolutely right. Joel Embiid, there's a world in which he plays 10 or 15 games fully healthy early in the season, and we go, oh, he looks like an MVP candidate again, right? He looks like Joel Embiid. He did come to camp in shape. I think there's some reason for optimism there. In as much as any optimism in Philly is allowable, legal, whatever, it's just a matter of health. Jrue Holiday is kind of a different story, right? Jrue Holiday now hitting his late 30s. Last year, I thought he took a pronounced step back defensively. He's somebody who at this point of his career, still a high-level defender, but better suited to guarding forwards than guards now. He's not quite as quick as he used to be. The shooting is a little bit iffier now. Obviously, that was a problem earlier in his career. You know, he's taken a little bit of a step back. He's not the same offensive player that he was at his peak in Milwaukee, in New Orleans. So still a very, very valuable player, deserving of making this list. But, you know, if we're going to keep adding new guys to this list, if the Thunder are going to get a dozen players on this list next year, somebody's going to have to fall off. And guys like Jrue, who are older, who have some injury concerns, they're the candidates to do that.
Speaking of adding new guys, maybe the guy from this year's draft class in Cooper Flagg. A lot of respect for the rookies, and sometimes, you know, we always say, I don't know yet, but he's at 61. I've been seeing him ball lately in preseason. I'm surprised he's not a little bit higher.
Yeah, cards on the table. We do our voting in September. We hadn't seen the preseason yet. I suspect if we repolled now, he probably would be a good deal higher. I had him 50 on my ballot, and I think probably if I were to do it over again, maybe 10 or 15 spots higher, because, oh man, does he look really, really good, especially if he's going to be playing point guard for Dallas, as this preseason has indicated. It's very, very rare for rookies to be high-level offensive creators, even if they're putting up the numbers. For him, it looks like it's on the table for him. If he can lift that Dallas offense that's so weird, with so little shooting, that's so big, into even being average or maybe slightly above, that's going to tell us that this is not only a future All-Star, this is a future All-NBA player, maybe a future MVP candidate. I still don't agree with the Luka Doncic trade. I don't agree with basically anything the Mavericks have done over the last year or so, except for draft him. That looks like it's gone pretty well. So if there's a silver lining to the Luka trade, at least you got this guy.
The NBA gods playing in their favor. We did not expect that at all to get number one when it comes to Dallas and Cooper Flagg, the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Sam Quinn, you are off the hot seat. You are free to go. No more questions for you, sir. Appreciate it as always. We are getting closer to the association returning back to our lives. The real deal. A week away from opening night on Tuesday, October 21st. We get the Rockets traveling to the champs and the Thunder at 7:30 Eastern. And then, of course, we always get the Warriors and Lakers. No LeBron, of course, still out with those glutes, you know, something he has to worry about now. Older age, I guess. 10 Eastern time, that nightcap for you.